Hello and welcome to Erin on the Side of Caution. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about NLP, what it is and what it claims to do. I'll also talk about some commonly used techniques, if there's any evidence that NLP actually works, the criticisms and potential dangers. Before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos on the empty promises of the multi-level marketing and self-help industries. First, what is NLP? NLP is a coaching method that claims to help us better understand how our thought processes, behavior, and language we use influence the way we think and the results we get. Supporters of NLP claim that copying or modeling excellence in any field enables us to bring about a positive change in ourselves and others. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. The neuro part of the name refers to neurology, the physical and mental processes of the human nervous system. The linguistic part of the name refers to language, how we communicate with others and ourselves. The last word, programming, refers to viewing the mind as an operating system that can be taught to achieve whatever you desire. NLP was created in the 1970s by two men, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, claiming a connection between neurological processes, language, and behavioral patterns learned through experience. They claim that these can be changed in order to achieve specific goals in life and that there is no limit to what can be achieved. Now, this is quite ironic because, one, neither of these men specialized in either the field of neuroscience or psychology, yet they claim that their work can be used to cure serious mental health conditions, including schizophrenia. Secondly, at the start of the 1980s, the duo's relationship hit the rocks. A dispute started where they argued about who had the rights to the trademark NLP. And these court disputes occurred until the year 2000. I find it ironic that these gurus of modeling excellence and mind configuration took 20 years to settle a dispute. Lastly, Richard Bandler is quite an interesting character and probably qualifies for his own video. But what I will say here is that the father of NLP, master of mind manipulation, and so-called habit master, couldn't quit smoking, had a cocaine addiction, and was accused of murdering a sex worker who was taking his NLP class in the presence of his drug dealer. Modern psychologists are skeptical about NLP for a variety of reasons. A 2019 paper published in International Coaching Psychology found that, quote, "There are no empirical studies that offer evidence for the effectiveness of coaching based solely on NLP tools and techniques." One issue with NLP is that its techniques are so broad in scope, with individual practitioners using many different techniques under the umbrella of NLP. NLP.com describes it as an attitude and methodology of knowing how to achieve your goals and get results, which is super broad and vague. What does NLP claim to do? The founders claim that, quote, "Taking an NLP training is like learning how to become fluent in the language of your mind, so that the ever so helpful server, that is your unconscious, will finally understand what you want out of life." NLP also claims to be a therapeutic treatment that can allegedly fix issues in a single session, such as phobias and fears, depression, tic disorders, somatic symptom disorder, which could be any mental disorder that manifests as injuries or illness that cannot be fully explained by any medical condition, allergies, the common cold, learning disorders, and nearsightedness, That's a lot of issues that can be resolved in only a single session. Remember, there's no scientific evidence to back these claims, only testimonials. Some of these testimonials even include people claiming they were cured of cancer and paralysis using NLP. Over time, NLP has been criticized as mind control, controlling your own mind and the minds of others to get them to do things you want them to do. It's not surprising that NLP has piqued the interest of many companies and especially salespeople over the years. In addition to psychological claims, NLP is frequently marketed as a business tool that claims, if any human being can do anything, so can you. It claims to lead you to success in every way, both on a personal and business level. It's essentially the same as saying that what separates you from Elon Musk or Usain Bolt is just changing your language and how you talk to yourself. According to Matt James, PhD, you can also practice NLP on yourself. He claims you may actually learn how to better solve problems, make connections, speak more confidently, reduce stress and anxiety, boost business success, and enhance creativity, as long as you use it with an ethical and genuine approach. Essentially, between all of the areas we've covered so far, NLP claims to treat just about any issue you've ever encountered. That's a huge red flag. What are some of these techniques of NLP? Influencing the subconscious is something that proponents of this method claim to do. They say that language patterns can be used to trigger responses in a subject's subconscious mind. The concept of anchoring is often used. This is when you are directed to anchor a pleasant feeling, such as confidence or happiness, to a physical sensation, such as pulling your earlobe, touching your chin, or squeezing your hand. The claim is that if a person anchors this feeling strongly enough, simply doing that action again can trigger the positive feeling whenever you want it. Another prominent technique used by NLP practitioners is mirroring. Mirroring is the phenomena observed when two people who are communicating mimic each other's expression and tone. Things like standing or sitting similarly to the other person, crossing your arms when they do, tilting your head at the same time, or leaning in at the same time that they do. Mirroring can happen naturally between people in a conversation, but NLP teaches people how to do it on purpose as a subtle technique to manipulate others. This is where NLP's techniques start becoming ethically questionable. These tactics are considered manipulation tactics. You might ask the question, what's the difference between influencing someone and overt manipulation? Influencing has a positive connotation and generally is associated with leading through example. Leaders across the world are aware of the power of influence, and this concept is well known in marketing circles as well. Take brand ambassador advertising or influencer marketing as an example. If a well-known and well-liked celebrity advertises Nike shoes, I might buy Nike shoes too because of their influence. And this is not necessarily bad. Manipulation is something different altogether. NLP uses intentional manipulation of others as a means to cause change. This implies that you're employing tools, whether they're emotional, physical, or mental, to make others do something for you or react a certain way that you want them to react. The power of suggestion and manipulation techniques is not new. However, dishonest people might see social cues in others and use certain suggestions to get that person to do something that they wouldn't normally have done. From an ethical point of view, Overt manipulation is wrong because it lacks the consent required for individuals to make conscious decisions. Personally, this is the part of NLP that bothers me the most. I believe that everyone deserves to be an active participant in their journey of self-development and be fully aware of the methods being used on them. So, is there scientific evidence or proof that NLP works? NLP can be divided into 3 sections: self-programming, manipulation, and physical healing. We've discussed how NLP-style suggestion techniques can be used to influence our subconscious mind and the minds of others. For the last section, physical healing, we discussed that there is no scientific evidence that shows that NLP actually works. University of Sydney researcher Anthony Grant noted that many researchers argue that NLP is not evidence-based. There is very little peer-reviewed evidence that shows NLP works or has any effect on people. On the opposite side of this are NLP practitioners who claim that it's effective because they have personally seen changes in their clients. Now, this may be because of confirmation bias, which is the tendency of people to favor information that confirms their existing beliefs. Confirmation bias happens when a person gives more weight to evidence that confirms their beliefs and undervalues evidence that could disprove it. Someone who has spent time and money on NLP therapy or who desperately wants NLP to work has a much higher chance of attributing any positive changes to the practice. Now let's talk about the certification process. How does one become an official NLP practitioner? Actually, this is very easy, considering the serious claims made by practitioners about the conditions NLP can treat. There are many courses, both on and offline, to learn NLP. A quick Google search will show that there is a wide variety of courses available online, ranging from a $26 NLP Master Practitioner Certificate from Udemy.com to a variety of classes that are a few $100s, all the way up to an NLP Integrated Master Coach Training, which is $5,900. Anybody can become NLP certified by paying the requested fees and signing up for a class. One of the courses offered on Udemy.com has a bullet point in the requirements section that says no prior knowledge of neuro-linguistic programming is needed to join this course. There is no application process, no interview, background check, or prerequisites required to sign up for any of these certifications. Remember, people who are taking these 4-day online courses for a few $100 then go on to start life coaching practices where people come to them looking for help with serious problems and mental health conditions. This overall certification process is sorely lacking a professional oversight as it falls outside of the realm of established psychology and healthcare. Let's do a quick recap. NLP, or Neuro-Linguistic Programming, is a tool that claims to be able to heal both mental and physical ailments. Currently, NLP is viewed as pseudoscience by most mental health professionals and psychologists. There is no scientific testing and evidence supporting the claims of people who support NLP. The main criticism of NLP is the overt manipulation part. There exists very little professional oversight or education for NLP practitioners. Because of this, there's a greater risk of untrustworthy individuals using these techniques to influence others, which may be seen as unethical. Claims of physical healing are unsubstantiated and considered absurd by the medical community. The line between manipulation and influence is very thin here. We must be careful in believing unverified claims. All healthcare advice should come from a licensed medical professional. Lastly, there are many self-proclaimed gurus on the rise that are eyeing your credit card. There is no governing body that overlooks NLP practitioners, so there's no way to tell if someone is actually experienced in these techniques or paid $26 for an online class. Be very careful when you consider buying a course or attending an expensive seminar. Do your research and consider investigating programs that have thorough scientific backing, like cognitive behavioral therapy. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this information was helpful and educational and helps to spread awareness about manipulative self-help claims. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified about future videos, and thanks for joining me on the side of caution.